All right, welcome back to the Trial and Error podcast. It's Fearless and Brian. On today's episode, we're going to talk about, and I'm going to change it up a little bit because Fearless and I have been having online conversations and whatnot. I feel like we need to actually have a conversation about y'all's website and how y'all envision these websites being, and basically get a marketer's perspective on it and a whole bunch of other stuff. So we're going to talk about y'all's website, and hopefully there's some jewels you can take from this. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll the intro and we're going to get into this conversation.
Let's go.
All right, first things first. My name is Brian. I own a marketing agency called I Sell Words, and my main product is Unstuck Sessions. This exists to help you get moving forward, wherever you're stuck in your business, whether it's a marketing issue or a systems issue. We sit down, we have a conversation, we figure out how to get you moving from point A to point B. One of the major services I'm pushing now is content repurposing and teaching the basics of creating your own content. Fearless is kind of my prototype client, and just this show existing shows that it works. So the idea is using your content to build the basis of what you want to do in your future, as opposed to building your content to try to go viral or be famous. So that's who I am. Fearless, who are you, man?
I am a philosopher and life coach, and I basically help people reframe and restructure their thinking.
All
That's
right.
that's it.
All right. All right.
I don't think I'm as eloquent as my dear good buddy here. When it comes to the stuff or whatever, I like to be braggadocious, but I like to I'll rather show you what I'm able to do as opposed to tell you.
Yep.
But I guess you have to tell a person, but otherwise, yeah, because they're not gonna know.
Right.
So anyway,
Right.
yeah.
And to kind of bring you guys up to speed on the conversation, we actually had it on the Unstuck Sessions live stream yesterday. We were talking about how people perceive the role of content in in terms of developing their business or professionally and stuff like that. And my contention is utilizing content as an extension of your resume,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can show what your actual thinking is in real time. And one of the clients I work with, I'm helping distribute his podcast, and I do all the clipping and some of the editing on the backside of things. I write blog posts and things along those lines. And even though we have a super small audience, it's getting him job offers. It's getting him freelance opportunities with a small audience. And so I'm talking about the power of just showing up online and showing what you know how to do.
Right.
And it's different than, somebody who just wants to go viral and be famous. And, the lanes are different, but some of the thought processes are the same. So that was the conversation we're having. And we kind of veered into talking about websites because the last couple of episodes, we were planning on sitting down and, me helping Fearless put together his website. And so yesterday I kind of suggested, why don't we have a conversation first to build the framework of what the thinking needs to be and get some of the philosophy behind it before we start committing to the website fully. And so that's what this episode is.
Yeah, no, indeed.
Okay.
Very much indeed.
Okay. So Fearless, we were talking about your website.
Mhm.
What one of the major questions, and this is for the audience, but this is kind of a conversation between me and Fearless too.
Mhm.
What is it that you want your website to do? What do you want it to be?
Okay. So how about we start off with the end in sight and then work our way back? Can we
Sounds
do
good.
that?
Yep.
Okay. So number one, I want it to be simple. I don't want too much information, but if there is, I would like it to be categorically simple.
Okay.
So if you'd like to see the videos are there. Um, I heard yesterday how you were talking about doing like a newsletter with somebody, one of your other clients. I thought about that. I'm like, man, that's a really good idea. I like to maybe do something like that. And about me, obviously, services. calendar type thing, and that's it. I don't need or want anything else.
Okay.
I want everything just to be real simple.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you come in, you know exactly what it is. You know where everything is. It's obviously aesthetically a pleasing,
Yep.
appeasing. But that's it, bro. I don't need a bunch of other stuff.
Okay. And so we're kind of okay. So a couple of things. We're kind of looking at it as um, a bulletin board or a billboard about
Yeah.
what you're doing,
Or
and
matter of fact, a landing
a
page.
landing page. I think a bulletin board, or I'm thinking more portfolio.
Mm,
You know, in a place where you can really display your thinking and show people your expertise. Okay.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, that works.
and so I think this step, and I'm gonna spend some time with this. This step is hugely important when we're talking about what a website needs to be. Um, Oftentimes we think, and I use myself as an example. When I initially built our website for Coach Mo Athletics, one of the things I did, um, it was, ooh, I want to show that I can build a website. That's where it went. Like I want to show the world that I know how to build a website. And I had built websites for myself personally, but not for a business at that time.
Mhm,
And so there was a big, huge factor of, hey, look at me. I built a website, and I smart, all that other stuff that goes into it.
mhm.
And so um one of the reframings I've had in subsequent years is when I go through the website, I realize how big of a convoluted mess it is. Um, to the point where I've built another website that is more aligned with actually doing business, because at the end of the day, that website is meant to showcase our services and allow people to partake in them, not showcase all my best ideas, not be the not to win awards for the most beautiful website and all that other stuff. And I think that is some of the thinking that needs to go into it, because a lot of times when business owners think about their website, they are focused on the aesthetics over the function of it. Now, if you are an artist, if you're showcasing photography or videography, the aesthetics matter a lot more. More times than not, the stuff with our website is kind of tied to our perception of self and a little bit of our own vanity. I know it was for me. I wanted to show how beautiful a website we could build and how amazing the website was. And I remember a conversation early on, my business partner, about it. And he's like, yeah, man, people love the website. They talk about how great it looks. I'm like, cool. And then I sat there, I'm thinking, so why aren't we converting?
Mhm.
And,
Okay.
and why, people love the website. If they love the website so much, why are they not clicking on the buttons and taking
Oh,
the actions?
oh wow.
And so,
Now that's something totally different.
yeah. And
That
so,
brings, yeah, okay, I get that. I get you.
I was really locked into the form over the function. And that was unfortunate for me, because I think I missed out on a lot of opportunities to maximize our profits, and maximize our sales. Because at the end of the day, if we're talking about the thing that determines, if we're talking about the thing that determines whether this website is good or not on our end, we're not selling videos, and we're not selling photography. We're not selling artwork. Sorry. We're not selling artwork. We are selling services. And the visuals go along with the services to help sell them. But at the end of the day, the idea is we need you to partake in our services. So the reason why Fearless and I are having this first conversation is figuring out what the website is for. And then I'm going to throw in some ideas in terms of how we can actually use the stuff that we are creating, the creative stuff we are creating, to enhance the website.
Hmm.
So that's why this conversation is important. A lot of times it starts and ends with, I need a website. And I actually did a podcast with a friend of mine who's a designer, and he even gets it where people want the website, they get the website, and they're like, okay, why aren't people showing up to my website?
Okay.
because having a website doesn't
Mm.
mean that it's not it doesn't mean anything. A lot of people have websites, but there's a whole other layer of stuff that happens underneath that to
Okay,
get people to come to your website.
gotcha.
So the idea is most websites are built backwards, and it's kind of costing you leads,
Wow. Okay.
sales, and opportunities. Um, the biggest myth is a website equals credibility. It doesn't.
Okay. So say that one more time.
The biggest myth regarding use websites is the website equals credibility, and it
Mm.
doesn't.
Okay. Okay.
You know, it doesn't mean that you're more credible than the other person. It just means that you have a place for your business online. You could accomplish the same thing with a landing page, which is basically a 1 or 2 page website that serves a single purpose.
And what is that single purpose? Is the single purpose converting, or is it just making it simple to click and buy? I mean, we always hear about CTA, which is a call of action,
Yep.
right? And I mean, shit, we always we'll put the call here or call for a consultation or do this, blah blah blah, whatever. But again, when it's funny because when you ask me what do I want, I tell you which is a very doable, plausible thing.
Yeah.
And then as you're saying that, I'm like, oh damn, that's totally different than like you know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
like, oh shit. Like that's not the reason why that's not, I guess, what I want for I'm like so now I guess
Well,
with you saying that, if you ask me again, I would say, well, I want them to call. I want the conversion rate
yeah.
to go from looking at my stuff to being to them pre-qualifying themselves.
Okay. So let's take a step back. I want to answer one of the questions you asked.
Okay.
You said, what is the purpose of the landing page? What does it need to be? The
Okay.
landing page needs to be whatever action you want them to take. So if you want them to sign up and subscribe to your channel, that could be the call to action. That's what the landing page is for.
Okay.
If you want them to book an appointment for a service, that's what the landing page is for. If you want them to buy a product, that's what the landing page is for. And so it's determining what action you want to take them, what action you want them to take on the landing page. And so I'm jumping a little bit ahead of what I had to say, but I realized about midstream, about 3 years after I designed that website for Coach Mo Athletics, that the best websites I've seen or experienced are organized like a series of landing pages. So that each page has its own purpose, own call to action, and own reason for existing. And so
is that sorry to cut you off? Is that kind of like Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels? Because I know that site was literally where you build each page differently from the last one.
Okay, so ClickFunnels is a landing page builder.
Okay.
But it's a multi-tiered landing page because a sales funnel is basically a landing page. It's a landing page with a couple more steps.
Okay.
And so a sales funnel, online sales funnel or ClickFunnels is just a landing page builder that has multiple steps. And so it has a lot of contingencies. So if they click here, if they answer this question, then you send them to this page. But if they answer this question, you send them to this page. If they say they can't afford it, then you send them another offer that's a little bit less to see what they can qualify for. Like there's a whole bunch of other sequences. If you click on this button, you add them to this 7-day email sequence and drip it out to them to try to warm them up. And so it just has other contingencies for each button. But the simplest way to break down what ClickFunnels is a landing page builder. And people say ClickFunnels website. Yeah, it's a website, but a landing page is a website, but not all websites are landing pages. Does that make sense?
It's like with the Shriners, all Shriners are Masons, but not all Masons are Shriners.
Yep.
I got you.
And so a lot of times we get caught up in, because really, ClickFunnels, he just created a new name for what a landing page is.
Gotcha.
And it kind of became, sales funnel became part of the jargon that we use as marketers because it describes so much. A funnel starts wide and narrows at the bottom.
Mhm.
We're starting wide with the client base, and we're using questions and contingencies and asks and offers to narrow them down to the people that are going to buy.
Hmm. Okay.
And so that's really what the process is. And so you don't have to have an elaborate sales funnel. In fact, until you start getting conversions, I would really strongly advise against complex sales funnels.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and again, I think that even matter of fact, when we started, you told me like, and I told you, I don't want to have to learn a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to push and click, and I'm in. Now I can actually come into StreamYard and work whatever I need to because now I understand it a lot more. So when there's a problem, I understand it, and for the most part, I can usually fix it
Yep.
because now I get it. I've worked it enough. So website wise, it should be the same exact way. If you don't have any sales at this point, then your thing should just kind of be a point and click type of situation.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
There's a concept and that I use in strength training too. It's and I'm stealing it from starting strength. You want the minimum level of complexity.
Yeah, I get that.
You want the simplest way to implement it because you start adding complexity as your needs become more diverse. But when you're first starting out and you just need conversions, you need to simplify it for yourself. You need to have a system to track it because that's the other side. The more complex the system is, the more elaborate the system you need to build to track your outcomes. And
Hmm,
so you need a simple way to track conversions.
gotcha.
Um, and you need to have simple metrics that determine what you view as success versus what you don't view as success. And so that's what you need. And a lot of times when you build these websites, you go to these website builders, they give you a lot of different metrics. Most of them don't really matter to you. The thing you need to worry about is this getting conversions? You can worry about all the other stuff
Later.
moving forward. And then, once you start worrying about the conversions, you can say, okay, so is it something on my website that's repelling them? If that's the case, then I can fix it. And then you start peeling the onion back from there. But today is really talking about mistakes people make, what makes a good website, what a good website actually needs. And I'm trying to get y'all to think like a marketer versus a designer because both are very important. But for the sales side of things and the utility side of things is focusing on what a marketer thinks like. Because I'm be honest with you, one of the highest converting websites in the world is also one of the ugliest.
Craigslist.
Craigslist is one. Amazon is considered dated. It's considered ugly. It doesn't fit modern.
Amazon.
Yeah, it doesn't fit modern design conventions.
I love their website. I know exactly where everything is.
But that's what I'm saying. From the aesthetic standpoint of what modern design is, Amazon is ugly.
Oh, okay.
But from the consumer mind, it's perfect. And so some of the ugliest websites in the world are doing business
Gotcha.
because it's about function over the form. And I think a lot of times we focus too much on the form because it goes back to wanting to show up the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about is wanting to show up the right way.
I got it.
And so that's kind of where that is. Let me see something here. So, if it looks good and doesn't convert, it's kind of useless, especially when you're starting out. Once you have sales, you can start experimenting. Okay. There's multiple steps behind having the website, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of how I view it. I talked about having a series of landing pages. So when I'm promoting stuff for clients and I'm utilizing a web page that's already built, if they have a specific service, I ask specifically where that service is located on the website, and the link that I put into the social media post is directly to that service. I don't drop them on the front page of the website or anything. Because
what do you mean?
All right, so this is off script, but a lot of times when you have a website and you have a specific product or service you want people to buy, the most people, when they're like, hey, come check out my services at my website, what they do is they post the main page to their website and put it in a social media post and post it. Okay. What that does is it invites people to come to your website, look around, get confused, and leave. Because you aren't solving the problem immediately for them.
And you're not being specific enough neither.
Mm-mm.
You're being vague and broad. Whereas what you taught me was you need to be very specific and point on.
Yeah.
So, and people need to be. Here's the thing, y'all. You got to be told exactly what to do.
Mhm.
Period. So if I tell you, hey, come to now, if I tell you to check out my website, that's one thing. But if I
Mhm.
tell you to book a session with me, that's I'm going to give you the link for that, and then you can click that link, which is not going to take you to my website.
Yeah.
It's going to take you directly to book Calendly. It's going to take you to book me,
Mhm.
whatever. It's going to take you directly to my calendar. Period.
And that's what you want. You don't want a you don't want to just drop somebody, because that's almost like going to the grocery store with no list.
That's bro. I just came from the grocery store,
Yeah.
and I was so happy that I actually took the list with me, because bro, otherwise you in there buying all kind of shit,
Yeah.
and they want you to buy a bunch of stuff. That's the reason why they put the milk and stuff all the way in the back, so you have to walk past all this stuff. They put the fruits and vegetables and all that stuff. Well, actually, in Walmart, it's like right when you walk in. But if you go to Family Fare, on the other hand, it's usually like way on the other side of the store.
Yeah.
Which their produce is trash. Now, I'm just putting that out there. Walmart's amazing, but Family Fare is horrible.
And
So yeah, but I hear you.
so and so this actually does fall into a conversation about websites. They set up stores so that in order to build your regular basic meal, you have to traverse the entire store in order to build what you consider to be a complete meal. The vegetables are on the other side from the meat counter.
That
you,
part.
you got to walk all the way. You got to walk back to get to the grains, like and the side dishes and the condiments. They
That
make
part.
it so that you have to travel as much distance in that store, because the more things you walk past, the more things you're likely to put into your cart. They
Correct.
also set it up so that, for kids stuff, things that little kids would buy or demand that their parents buy them, they put them eye level so that they're within easy reach for the kids too, so that it's easier to just put it in the cart than to have a temper tantrum on your hands. And so
Mhm.
it's designed with thought in mind. And so when we're talking about a website, we're designing it with thought in mind. Okay. We want to drive people to what we want them to do. So even if they discover our website, which is sitting, if you're just relying on and I'm put out there, if you're just relying on basic discovery, like the fact your website's on Google, and you think that's enough, that then you're basically going to the lake, getting in the boat, and going and sitting in the middle of the lake with no fishing rods and just waiting for the fish to jump into your boat.
Oh wow.
But that's why, and that goes into what I'm gonna be talking about here. You have to think about your website, like what's the journey that you want your client to have. And that's the thing I didn't do when I started building the Coach My Athletics. I'm like, oh, let's put all the cool stuff we're doing on here. And it's visually it looks great, but it's also very, very confusing because it's not directly to what I want them to do. So
Can you show us?
yeah, and I can show it, but I've also, you got to understand, I've edited that website with my new knowledge. And so
Okay, perfect. So what? Oh yeah. I mean, so what? Show us.
So
I don't know about you guys, but I am more of a visual learner. I like to see what I'm being taught.
So I'll share a screen with you to show you what I'm talking about here.
Thank you.
So, and I'll walk you through each thing. Okay. So this is the front page. I don't do anything. I don't really ever send people to this page.
Okay.
It exists for people that discover us, but I don't really lead people here. Okay. Because it has all of our offers, it has everything else. When I first built this site, I was going for the aesthetics and showing all these action pictures and all that other stuff. And I realized really quickly that people were coming to the page and bouncing off because there was too much shit on it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that shit's horrible.
And so I stripped it down. And I pulled a lot of stuff off here. And so this main page is really for the people that discover us on Google, for them to look, see what services we have, check to see if we are valid in terms of our sponsors, and then hear the offers. And I didn't even put these offers above fold because I don't really expect people to land on this page that often. Okay. And when I say above the fold, I'll explain that in a second here. Okay. So I decided, normally our flagship program is our basketball academy program. Okay. And so this is the page that I send most people to. This is the page that I put into Google and stuff. And understand this current Coach Mo Athletics page is actually in the process of getting depreciated, because I'll show you what my new page looks like. But this page starts out, I had a heroes kind of banner up here. I make a call out right here. You're tired of paying just for a roster spot. It's time to build a better player. The visual. Okay. And then I go straight into my programming. Part of the reason why I'm getting rid of this website is this is Squarespace, and I like Squarespace for a lot of things. I don't like it for sales, because you see this entire banner here. This is a big button.
Okay.
I don't like that, because it's very difficult to get people to understand. Like, I have to visually put, and I'm pointing to it like you can see me. I have to visually put click here, just so people understand what to do on this page.
Why don't you just put it like right where it says like building better players, like right up above the basketball?
Because because it doesn't let you. This is a flyer that I've used to advertise this service. And so I'll click on it and it'll take me to the page. Okay. And then you could subscribe here. I need the button to just be Basketball Academy, subscribe, and have the details.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can't put that like right up underneath it, or
there's no straight.
It won't let you.
Because when you build a website on Squarespace, it gives you a template, and
Yeah.
the template I'm using will not allow me to do that. And
That's crazy.
And in order to change it, I have to change the entire template of the website. And
so it won't even just let you drag and just drop it over.
It will, but on this page, it won't. Like I said, there's a reason why I'm moving on and depreciating this. I love Squarespace. I think it's great for people that want to showcase what they do. You have to pick the right template from the jump. This website was built over 10 years ago, and they've updated it multiple times since. But the template that I was using is not flexible at all. And I had to make the decision: am I going to rebuild this thing from scratch, or am I going to just try a different builder that's more in line with sports programs? So this is an old page. It converts not as well as I wanted to. This is a newer page.
You're in the spray my things, and I spray my feet.
So,
and I put on some spray on.
Did you just wear that shirt?
No, I was wearing the.
Oh yeah, you had
I have a bunch of these.
All right, I bought you some more shirts. They'll be here in a few days.
Okay.
So then those shirts, we can put them as work clothes or something. I don't want you going out in those anymore. Right now, you're fine though.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So,
love you.
Love you too, son.
So this is a newer page, okay? And so this one actually is converting pretty well. My feedback for myself, if I was going to continue using this page, is I need to put this above the fold. So I need to move this section.
Yeah, way up above.
Up here. But the idea is I actually, the thinking behind this was I actually do need them to read through this, because them reading through this actually demonstrates intent. So if they go through this stuff and then come down here, they have a higher level of intent, because this is a higher ticket service. Okay. So you're starting to see some of the thinking that goes into some of this stuff. and some of the ways that I've done this. So I'm gonna show you what the new page looks like, because right now I have the new website built. I just have it as a link on my old website, but this
Okay.
is kind of the new page. Let me go ahead and stop. I'm gonna share this tab instead, and you've seen this page. So this is our new page. Okay. Still don't
Yeah,
sit.
that's what I was telling you. It looks way cleaner,
Yeah, I
very
still don't.
specific.
I still don't send people to the homepage. I send them directly to where I need them to go. So
Okay, I got you.
if I want to, if I want them to do training, I send them to the basketball academy page, and this is what it looks like, and straight tells them exactly what it is. Purchase call to action. You know, from the aesthetic standpoint, it's a lot simpler than the other website, but that's the intent, because the biggest thing is that old website had 10 years worth of stuff that I've added on. I have dozens of pages on that website that I built that I've hidden or don't use anymore. And it's a lot of stuff that I would have to clear out. And so I'm like,
Right.
let me just start from scratch. Let me go with the website. Let me go with the website that's more in line with coaching and sports coaching. Is more set up for that, because this one, I could just send them the link. If they want training, I send them the link directly to this page. It shows them all of our services. If they want to do
Okay.
camps, I send them the link for our camps and how to book our next camps. Okay. If they want to see what our camps look like, they can click here and see the video of what it looks like. There's a lot of different things I can do with this site, and
Gotcha.
without having to go through all of the rigmarole of the old site. And so that's the thinking nowadays. And so I'm gonna jump back here and get back to the outline. But what I'm telling y'all is, the reason why I'm saying all this is, I'm not just sitting up here preaching to y'all. I'm telling you my own lived experience with websites and creating websites for people. Um,
Okay.
and that's really what it is as a marketer. And it also comes from one of my friends is a designer. We have conversations all the time. And his biggest frustration is when people come to him and they don't know they want a website, but they don't know why.
Mm.
It slows down so much. So, um, let's get back into it here. Okay. So we're gonna go into the top 7 mistakes people make with their websites. Okay. We already covered number 1. They build for aesthetics, not actions. If it looks good and doesn't convert, it's useless. They hire
Oh, hold on. Okay, so you said the top 10 what?
top
And
7.
hey, could you just send me
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, because this will be some information I need to kind of see myself, and I you know me, I love to read.
Well, and it took I put some notes into ChatGPT, and it kind of butchered one of my points here. So I'm explaining the
Even
next
better,
point.
even better.
I'm gonna explain the next point to you. Do you want me to put
Okay.
it in private chat or email?
No, just send it to email.
Okay. So give me a second here. I'll do that. So number 2 is they hire designers, not marketers. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you hire the expert to be the expert. I do think that you bring in your own knowledge and kind of help the designer design the website that makes sense for you. You give them a framework to work off of instead of just saying, I need a website, build my website for me.
Okay.
I think you need to bring a little bit more knowledge and thinking to that. Then here's a pile of money, build me a website. And
Gotcha.
you don't give them any purpose or reason why you want the website or any features that you need, anything you need the website to do. You just
Okay.
come and say, just paint me a pretty picture, and then you don't tell them what they want you what you want them to do. So
Mhm.
I think you do hire designers to build. I think you hired website designers to build websites, but I think you need to bring your marketing brain to the conversation.
Okay.
They skip the strategy and jump straight to building, because that's what I did with the CMA website. I didn't think about strategy or click-through rates or the user journey outside of, hey, look, isn't this a pretty website? I didn't think about it like that. So I didn't have any messaging. I didn't have any customer journey or funnel. I didn't have a goal, and that equals no return on investment. And one of the worst things that can happen when you don't know what you're doing with something is that you have success doing it. from the
Yeah,
jump.
because then you can't you can't repeat it. You can't duplicate it
Yeah.
because you
We
don't know what you duplicated because you don't know what you did.
we built that website and we ran our first camp, and then that first camp we made a couple $1,000. And I'm like, oh, what my stuff must be working. And I had that like, oh, it worked this one time. And when it started not working, I was kind of trapped in my thinking.
Hmm.
Okay. They don't Number 4 is they don't really know who their ideal customer is. They don't know what their customer likes, what their customer engages with, they don't engage with. If your website is for everybody, it converts nobody. You do have to use your website to narrow people. And I even say it with marketing messages. You need to tell who your service is for and who your service isn't for. So I jumped back to where I said I wanted people to display intent with that specific service. I wanted them to read all the parameters before they went and clicked on it. Because the people that didn't read the parameters aren't necessarily clients that are for that service. That's how I view it. And so I need somebody to show a level of intent with the thing, if that makes sense. A lot of times we think that we could just shotgun blast this stuff out there and not think about why we're shotgun blasting it out there. Okay. Number 5 is they overload it with features and pages. That's the thing with the CMA website. I put every podcast on there. I put all the video on there. I put every picture I've taken on there, and that would be great for a gallery page. That's not necessarily great for a website. I don't need to put everything. You don't need to see everything. You don't need to see every thought that I have on that website, or every product that we launched. You don't need to see all that stuff at the same time because it could be super, super confusing for people.
Okay.
Number 6, no CTA above the fold. Okay. What that means is no call to action before, like the fold is where the screen ends and you have to scroll.
Okay.
It comes from newspapers because newspapers
Yeah.
be folded. So if you had a headline that you wanted somebody to read, you put it above the fold so they see it.
Yeah.
And so no clear call to action before the fold. The call to action is what you want them to do. Okay.
Did you send me the?
I'm working on it now.
Oh, okay.
But when we're doing call to actions, you want to keep those jokers as simple as possible. Okay. You want to tell them to do one action for every page that you have. It's really, really, really tempting to have this bouquet of options and have all your services there. You really want one action per call to action. If you want them to subscribe, you tell them to subscribe. If you want them to like stuff, you tell them to like. If you want them to share, you tell them to share. But don't do all 3 at the same time, because when you're presented with 3 options, people typically pick none of them.
Really?
Yeah.
So what about with what? So then what? So then you don't want options. You just want a choice.
Yeah,
Either this one or this one.
Yep. And
So either premium or platinum or regular or premium.
there's a different pricing strategy that comes involved, because if you're talking about 3 different tiers of a thing, people normally pick the middle tier.
Gotcha.
But if we're talking about 3 different actions they need to take before they get to the tiers,
gotcha.
You need to give them one thing.
Nothing. It's one thing to do.
Yep.
So if I were to say, come to my stuff or whatever, and I have 3 things or whatever like that, I'm telling you, pick a time or whatever that we get together, and then that's the one thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you pick a time, pick a service, and then fill out. I'm not telling you all that shit. I'm just telling you, go pick a time that you want to talk.
Yeah.
You start there. From there, then I'll tell you, I'll send you the link to watch these videos, or knowing me, you probably have already watched something of my stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then now there I can have 3 things. I can have the $2,000 a month. I can have the $5,000 to $15,000.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then I'm good.
Yep. And the
All right,
idea
that works.
and the
like
idea once you get them to click on the button, then you can tell the instructions of what they need to do to get into your service.
Gotcha.
But you want to keep that as simple as possible, because the thing is, if people don't follow if people don't follow simple instructions, they won't follow complex instructions.
Fuck no.
And so, but yeah, and so the clear CTA, tell them exactly what you need them to do.
Exactly what you want them.
And I'm gonna throw this rule in here, and I have to emphasize it. Fearless, if I talked about it in marketing stuff before, but I have to drive this point home. Most people comprehend, no matter what their education level is. The majority of people, when they're looking at sales stuff or non-technical things or things they don't need to commit to memory, or just stuff they're looking at passively, most people comprehend at about a 5th or 6th grade reading level. Doctors, if it's not technical stuff, or they're not reading a book for enjoyment or something, most people comprehend it passively. Online stuff, if they're scrolling through social media, they comprehend at a lower reading level. So when you write the stuff on your website, you really need to try to aim for that 3rd to 5th grade reading level. It's not if you're trying to sell something, it is not this isn't your chance to show how verbose you are. It's just not.
You need to keep it real.
Yeah.
You need to keep it Forrest simple.
Yeah.
Like that Forrest Gump type shit. You need to be real simplistic.
It doesn't need to be flowery or beautiful. You don't need to use all this alliteration and all this other stuff. You don't need to worry about your prose or anything like that. You need to deliver the message in a way that most people can understand. If people have to comprehend, if they have to spend too much brain power comprehending what you actually put in your message, they'll go somewhere else where it's put simply. And that's a lesson for me, because even when I write stuff for services and products, I can throw in big words. You don't want to do that. Especially when you're trying to get people to buy something from you. It's bad business all the way around.
Wow. So as I'm sitting there, so what I use this term, and I think we used it yesterday, that I'm a polymath when it comes to the self-help industry, personal development. And we both know what that word is. But what you're telling me is, if somebody else sees that word and for the most part has no idea what the fuck that is, you don't put that in there.
Oh no.
You said, oh no.
You can define it, like you could say, I'm a polymath and that means, or you could say,
okay, I could do that.
Or you could say, give the exact definition of what polymath is instead of using the word polymath.
That I study multiple different modalities. I can't even use that. I was about to say modalities.
Yeah.
I study a bunch of different coaching methods whatever, to help people, and then I merge them all together.
Yeah, it's just like telling somebody you're autodidact. They don't know what that means.
Yes, I know that. I was going to use that word, but yeah.
And you can say, I'm a student, I'm a natural student, and I love to learn, and I'm self-taught on a lot of different things.
On a lot of different things, yes.
And so, but you have to simplify your words, because they're not coming to your website because you can throw an entire dictionary at them. They're coming to your website because you can solve a problem for them. But if they can't understand what you're saying, you can't solve the problem for them. If they think that your solution is a bunch of words that they're not going to understand, they'll go to somebody who can put it in words that they understand. And so that's why a lot of times the simplest messages get the most traction on social media.
Yeah, no, I get that. That makes sense.
So so that was a bonus one. The last point is they treat their website like a digital brochure.
Yee.
The website,
I'm looking at that.
The website isn't about your business. It's for the visitor.
So, okay, say that again.
The website isn't about your business. It's for your visitor.
Say that one more time for me.
The website isn't about your business. It's for your visitor.
Stop fucking talking, dude. What? Yeah. That dude, we need to have. Let me see if we got any. I don't know if we have any. Actually, let me hold on. Let me see if we have any. Damn, dude, we don't have any. We don't got no things on here. That's crazy.
What?
I was about to drop a bomb. Drop one of Clue's bombs, bro. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Say that one more time for me. Just one more.
The website isn't about your business, it's for your visitor.
Explain.
So a lot of times when we create this website, we're thinking that it's a big showcase of our business, and we're showing off everything that we can do, and we're going to show how wonderful and great our business is. Realistically, your website is for your visitors to use to solve a problem. When they come to your website, they need to be able to solve a problem for themselves. You have to take you out of the journey. You have to show what you can do to help them. Because most people, no matter how big their hearts are, no matter how much they care about other people, people still operate by, how does this serve or benefit me? And when you build your website, you have to think about, how does it serve or benefit my client? What can they get out of utilizing this website? Is it easy for them to comprehend? Is it easy for them to navigate? Is it easy for them to understand? Are my calls to action clear? If they have a specific problem, do my calls to action speak to those issues that they're coming with? You have to think completely about what your visitor's experience is and optimize it for that. That's why I go back to when I say Amazon's considered aesthetically an ugly website, but it's a website that prioritizes the visitor experience. They want to make it dead simple for users. They don't care about the sellers as much as the people that are coming to buy stuff.
I'm gonna ask you something, and again, I think this is the great time to ask, because you're the person to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So, if for my site, so knowing all of this stuff now, of some of the stuff you said, and now that I can see this, I'm gonna go back and ask you some other questions.
Okay.
So taking number 7, they treat their website like a digital brochure. The website is not about your business, it's about your visitor.
Mm-hmm.
And so if our jobs is to solve a problem for the person coming to our site, it's going to be based on what you do, obviously.
Right.
But for somebody like me, being a philosopher, being a life coach who teaches fundamental philosophical principles, the first thing you should probably see with me, and I'm gonna paint you a picture,
Okay.
and then tell me, okay, and where we can improve, whatever. First thing you see is, whether it's a text that says stop.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe. Let's find some calmness. Call me.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So the objective is this is kind of what I do. I help people reframe. I help people I help people reframe their perspective of life in general. So if that's my objective, if my objective is to help people fucking find calmness and then reframe how you're looking at certain things.
Yeah.
If I'm helping you reframe your perspective of life, whether it's life, love, business, if your objective is to get out and go accomplish something, it starts by stopping everything for a minute. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's find our calmness. Give me a call.
Okay. I like that.
Well, what do you think? Because you are the marketing expert, kind sir, or whatever. But what do you think?
So what I would say is this. I would say that is you're providing value immediately.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Based on what you just said there, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm like, no. Okay. I don't want it to do all this shit. I don't want it to be. I want to give you fucking value before we even talk to each other.
Yeah. So with a simple, because look at it like this. So
Give it to me.
So what you're doing is you are providing instant value when they land on the website.
That's it.
The other thing you can do is provide a simple common reframe that somebody, like, you could do a video of you talking,
That's what I'm talking about.
providing a very simple reframe
That's it.
for somebody who's visiting the website. So immediately they're receiving some value from you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. And now you're thinking about what their experience is when they first land on the website. I want people, when they come to my website, to get immediate value from me.
Immediate.
Whether they,
even if we don't fuck with each other.
yeah. Yeah.
As soon as you come to my site, stop. I just want you to breathe. You're obviously here for a reason. Before we get started, let's find that calmness right quick. Let's chill.
Yeah.
Then contact me.
Yes.
Okay? Chill. Then contact me. Let's talk, and then we'll go from there.
Right.
Good.
That's how you do it.
And that's all. Right? So again, now that you guys kind of seeing this, man, people will watch this shit later. This is that type of shit that y'all need to be hearing. What he just said. If your site, regardless of what you do, is not giving me instant value, as soon as I jump on, what the fuck, what are you doing?
Right.
If what you sell, what you do, what you bring to the table is not giving me that instant something. So let's use you for an instance, Brian. So as a life coach, I can do my stuff all day long. I know, reading what you're talking about, I now have a totally different objective of what I'm going to do. And the question you asked before, what do you want your website to do? It wasn't again, within 30 minutes, you helped me figure out, like, nah, I don't want that. This is what I want over here. Right? So for somebody like you, who is a fucking marketing expert, a marketing genius, you are literally a polymath and an autodidact for a lot of this stuff. What would your personal consultation site look like? Like, I'm a brand new guy. I don't know Brian. Somebody just told me, hey, you should go check this dude out. I click on I Sell Words, hit that button. What's the first value you're giving me?
For the longest time, the first thing that you would see would be a video of me breaking down direct response marketing and how to simplify your marketing chain, and how to target the client, how to build a client avatar to target the clients that you want. That would be one of the very first videos that you would see. I've changed that video to another one that I did, but realistically, that would be, when I'm looking at it, for me, the most important thing is going to be not me talking about not directly me talking about my services, but me telling you, solving a small problem for you. And so that's how I would construct it. I would answer a small marketing question. And I'm actually, and it's funny we're talking about it, because I'm actually redesigning my website today to align with kind of what we've been doing. But let me see if I gotta pull it up here, because my website for I Sell Words is in it's in between stages here.
Okay.
So I'm pulling that up now. All right. So, and I guess I'll show it, because I've been more focused on my social media output here, but I'm gonna show this here. So for I Sell Words, Unstuck Sessions, basically, I talk about, how you can get yourself unstuck, how you can get your stuff. So this video is about what stuck means and some of the thought process behind getting yourself moving forward.
Okay.
And it's like getting clarity. I talk about what my process is, and stuff like that. Realistically, my goal is to drive you more towards my social media stuff right now. Okay. But marketing strategy versus for the Unstuck Sessions, We have lay out all the tiers and everything, but then I kind of explain, you know, the different kind of thought processes that go behind the different services I offer. And like I said, a lot of these services are getting revamped because a lot of this was designed when my wife was working with me full time, and so I don't have the bandwidth to do a lot of this other stuff. But when I'm part of my sketch for my new website when I overhaul this completely is I have a video I shot yesterday. In fact, the video I shot yesterday is supposed to be my entry level video, basically explaining why you should be using content as to augment your resume, and some thought process behind use of creating social media content to display your expertise. And how that can enhance enhance your career even with a very small audience.
Okay.
So that's what the website overhaul is going to look like. I already shot the video. I just got to edit it today, and that's going to go up on here. But to your point, I've always focused on, like, one time the lead video on I Sell Words was the Life Force 8, and you know, the different core drives that drive people's decision making, you know, for business owners. Like, I put instructional videos on my website to lead off with. Does that make sense? Like, it's the same thing I'm telling you. I do it myself. I'm trying to give you value immediately as soon as you land on my site.
Yeah, as soon as you land.
And I think what happens is oftentimes we don't necessarily think about the people that are coming to us with their problems. And so I'd rather solve a problem immediately. I work with people all the time with no expectation of getting paid. I just want to solve their problems and help them out. And the money comes afterwards. That's how I venture through the world. It's hurt me in some cases, but other times it's opened up a lot of doors for me.
Okay.
So with even down to my website, I'd rather share some value on the front end.
Okay, so if we go back to the top thing that you talked about before, and we use, do you mind if I pull this up?
Go for it.
Because I actually, give me 1 second. Let me.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna break them down. Because again, this is what I do on my show. Everything that we do is, well, as you know. Everything I do is what's the word? It's based on God, my brain just went blank. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Everything that I do on my show is based on learning, teaching, exposing, not necessarily in a negative way.
Yep.
It's making sure that people understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. So I'm gonna go on here right quick. So this is what Brian kind of came up with, and I'm going to do hold on.
And I'm about to send you more here, so
Okay. Now that works. So this is kind of what I wanted to do. Go through each one just real fast. Okay. So they build for aesthetics, not action. So that we already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
If it looks good but doesn't convert, it's useless. So again, they built it for aesthetics, right? So Amazon, Craigslist in particular, has not changed their website, if I'm not mistaken, since they started it.
Nope.
And I think it's still been going since they started it. Or whatever, right? Same grayish, weird looking site, but it still brings in only God knows how much in advertising and this and the other, right?
Right.
So obviously that there goes to show you that it doesn't matter what for the most part it looks like, as long as it's doing exactly, as long as it's converting, who gives a shit what it looks like?
Exactly.
It's almost kind of like with videos. A person, I think it was you, who told me on multiple occasions, your camera, it does matter for the most part, but people are more concerned with if they can hear you or not.
Right.
If they can hear you and your quality is amazing, but the video segment isn't always the best, then they'll still rock with you. But if your quality, your video is amazing, if people can barely hear you, they're off somewhere else.
Yep.
They're off somewhere else. So, and again, some of the videos that I've seen that have gone viral have not had the best quality at all,
Mm-mm.
but you can hear everything that's going on. So if we were to take that same idea, like you said, and we were to consistently keep using this for the aspect of the person that you're providing the service for, or the person that you're selling your product or your service or your experience for, then you should always your website should always be converting.
Yeah.
Like always, there should technically not be a day where you're not converting something to somewhere, because you're either solving that problem and but again, though, like you said, and I guess we'll get to that in a second, but even if you have the best, even if you plan to offer the best services, even if you plan to sell the best products, even if you plan to give the best experience, if nobody knows you exist, it doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Right?
Right.
So then we'll go into number two. So number one, again, it doesn't matter as long as it converts, period. So
Yep.
number two is they hire designers, not marketers. Designers focus on visuals, marketers focus on behavior. So that behavioral part is based on converting.
Mm-hmm.
They're basing their stuff on whether somebody's going to buy this or not.
Yep. And the addendum I want to add to that is that took an idea and kind of butchered it, because I entered some notes in there. I would
Okay.
say
Here,
they
hold
don't-
on. I'll pull up. Go ahead and say what you need to say.
so it's not because you hire experts to do expert work, right? But people hire designers and never give them really clear instructions about what the purpose of the website is for, and just expect them to magically just figure it out along the way. That's not how it works. You need to actually give them some context. Like, you need to actually give your designer some context about how you want to use this website, and not just, create me a website. You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people do that to designers, and then they're not happy with the website they got because the instructions were trash.
Right. Can you
They
say-
didn't. Yeah. So they didn't tell them. So the addendum I'm adding to it is, I still believe in hiring designers to design websites, but I think you need to actually come in with, you can't just show up with your brain off, and you can't shut your brain off and expect that they're going to do the thinking for you. You need to tell them what the website is. You don't really have a blueprint. You don't have an idea of what you're doing when you hire the marketer. You don't know why you've hired or you don't know why you've hired the designer. You just know that you want a website.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So start with the conversion and go, okay, define the user journey, awareness, interest, desire, action.
mhm.
Reverse engineer the content from your sales pitch. Think offer first, not homepage first.
Yeah, we're going through the next part of my.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We
Go
can
ahead.
start powering through it. Because
Well, I wanted to power through so I can ask a bunch of questions
that's cool. That's cool.
along the way.
I'll add mine in. So go ahead.
Okay, so use high converting structure, above the fold, which you already talked about. Social proof outcomes. Is that testimonials?
Yep. Testimonials, people telling you, you showing your work, showing
Okay.
videos of you working, you showing the outcomes of working with you and stuff like that.
Okay. Objection handling, perfect. Final CTA, which is call to action.
Mhm.
And then mobile first thinking, 70% plus, which means it might be 72, 73, 78,
Mhm.
plus traffic equals your mobile shit. So what he's saying is that Most people are not on their computers; they're on their phones.
Yep. And your website has to be optimized for mobile.
It needs to be more mobile, very mobile friendly. Actually, it's probably be mobile friendly first,
Yeah.
and then computer friendly on the back end.
And most website builders and most designers understand the concept.
Yeah.
Is if you don't have a designer that makes your website friendly for mobile, it ain't gonna work.
Okay. Excuse me. So yeah, like you said, if it doesn't work on the mobile, then it's not gonna work because most people are not going to mess with your shit if they can't see it on their phone.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, name that. I'm on my computer all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be. I teach for a living, so I teach, coach, train, all that good stuff. So I'm on my phone consistently. So, but that's all. That's also another thing that I do is I'll go through my phone to see, like, can you guys see this? Can y'all see that? So I'll have to go in and most of my slides, I may have to adjust it so people can see it a little bit better. Because when I built it on my computer. I didn't build it on my phone. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand what you're saying. Okay, so again, so everything that this is right here, so this segment right here is book the call, sell the product, capture email, pick one. So what do you mean by that?
You need to pick on that. When we're talking about a goal for that page, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to book a call with you? Are you trying to sell them a product? Or are you trying to capture their email?
Gotcha.
Pick one. Don't try to do all three on the same page.
Okay, so
I wouldn't say not on the same page with under the same call to action. I should say.
Okay, so when you come to my website,
mm-hmm.
on my page, whatever, first thing I'm telling you, stop. Breathe with me for a minute.
Yep.
Right. Let's find some calmness. Okay, breathe with me. Okay. Now contact me. Right. And so that can be, and now when would I put, because for that, my contact would be my calendar page, right? Book a session, book some time, whatever. That would be that. So when would I ask for their email? Because I don't want to do it at that point. You know what I'm saying? I want to do it with this over here. Or when you submit the thing, I'll already have it then.
So what are you offering in exchange for the email? Because you have to think about it like that. Why would they give you the email?
What do you mean?
So, and it's a concept. I don't necessarily expect. So a lot of times when we ask to capture an email, what that means is you have some downloadable thing that they can download, quick one sheet page that explains a specific thing, maybe a one sheet course, one sheet quiz, assessment, PDF, something along those lines that you're offering in exchange for their email address. You could offer a free problem solving thing that they can download, and then you capture their email address.
Okay, so can it be one and the same that they come to my site? The first thing I do is offer you value. They chill. Come, hey, check that out for me. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, take.
I just had some fruit.
Okay. Hey, chill, stop, blah blah blah. I don't know what you're going through right now, but let's take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever, contact me. We'll I got your back. To me, whatever I say.
Yep.
So once you go into that button to go into my Calendly thing or whatever, I will get your email then, so I don't have to ask you for it.
Yeah, but you're going to get their email, but these are for different purposes. So. Like would
that be different from me then?
It depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to build an email list, and build out a list of email list for like a newsletter so that you can constantly reach and interact with these people and offer new products and services to that email list, then a lot of times the way people do it is they have some kind of offer that's for free that they're offering in exchange for email.
Okay, yeah, so we can create a email list
Yeah.
type thing. Not email, but a newsletter.
Yeah.
Or whatever like that goes out, once a week, just stuff that we kind of work on
To fix people's problems and help them reframe.
It's exactly just to reframe certain situations or whatever. This is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we go about doing it. Go from there, done.
Yep.
Whatever.
But
again, I wouldn't, that's what I'm saying though. Well, I wouldn't put that on the very first thing of you meeting me, because my objective is I want you to book a session.
Okay, so let me run it down. So the first thing you're doing is you want to stop, give them a simple reframe, right?
Yeah, I was just looking for it. It's usually here.
So the first thing you're offering is that simple.
I'll put it up. Just put that back up. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
The first thing you're offering is a simple reframe, right? And so
that's it. Yes.
And so why not? And so this is just my marketing brain kicking on. It's not right or wrong. You're offering a simple reframe with this. Why not offer something free that they can use at home to help reframe a problem that they may have going on or persisting in their lives?
Yeah, overthinking.
Then you provide the free resource. Now they've established trust with you, and you provided value to them twice.
Okay, so okay, so then is that a thing then?
Yeah.
So you come on, stop.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we all have this thing about overthinking. Okay, so let me give you a steps that we can take, or blah 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 blah, or whatever. Number 1, this is what I need you to do. Number 2, this is what I'm do I do that?
Yeah. So
explain that, and then say, call me or contact me, call me, I got your back.
Yeah. So this is kind of what we're doing. What we're doing is we're discussing the customer's journey, right? We're discussing the journey we want the client to take through your services. Okay.
Okay.
So the first land on your page, they see the video offering a simple reframe, right? The next thing they see is, did this work for you? Do you have another thing that you need reframe? Maybe you have another problem. Here's a simple worksheet for you to help reframe. Okay. So now in landing on the website, within the first 30 seconds, you've given them 2 pieces of value. And now you could say, hey, if you need more, now you can contact me and we could sit down and talk. So now you've given them 2 pieces of value, and then you're making an offer for them to contact you. So you provide a value here, and now you're asking something of them. Okay. You've already captured the email address so that you can put them on, a mailing list. Maybe your newsletter is called the Reframe, So you're actually offering 3 pieces of value, because you're giving them the simple video reframe. You're giving them a worksheet to help them reframe. You're giving them a newsletter that's about reframing their issues. And now you're asking them to book a session with you if they want more. This is the concept of having the appetizer before the meal. Appetizer is to kind of get your appetite going.
So video, worksheet, and then what's the last one?
So I would say video, worksheet, and then you can make your pitch and say, if you need more, this is where you can contact me.
Okay, contact.
Yeah, and then you could ask for this is where they can register to sign up to sit down and have their initial session with you. Or their 15-minute conversation with you. However you want to phrase it.
Okay.
Because like I said, you've offered tremendous value to them in their first interactions with you. And you've done it without asking much of them. The only thing you've asked of them is their attention and email address. It's the concept of when you go to buy, if you go to the traditional car dealership, I know you don't worry about it because you do the Tesla thing, but when you go to a traditional car dealership, when you walk in, the first thing they offer you is a bottle of water or a can of soda. And And they're hoping in exchange for that bottle of water or can of soda that you're going to buy a $40,000 vehicle from them.
Jesus.
And it works. That's why they offer it. It works. Like it's one of the oldest tricks in the books, and it works. It works every time.
Yeah, because I mean, people almost feel obligated.
Yeah.
To get something from, which is crazy.
I gave you something, like you go to the car dealership, they give you that bottle of water, which really costs them a couple cents, maybe even nothing. And in exchange, they're hoping that you'll sign away for a $40,000 car that you're going to finance for 5 years and pay your interest on for a bottle of water. You are providing something valuable to them on the front end. And you're saying, if you want more, you can contact me. And then that's where your after they book a time with you, that's when your sales process kicks in.
Okay.
And you can ascend them through what your offers are and show them what it looks like.
Okay.
So that's kind of that. So we're talking about.
So what's the first step for me then? So my first step is it the video or is it the landing page?
I would create the content first. I would create the video first.
Okay.
And then build the landing page around what's in the content of the video. And maybe even I would build the video and the worksheet or PDF or whatever you're offering to give a simple reframe. And we talked about it being in, maybe the PDF is something along the lines of recognize the signs of when you're in fight or flight or survival mode. Something along those lines that solves an immediate problem. I would design those two and then build the landing page copy around those things.
Okay, I'll do signs to know when.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 3 would be what? Contact me?
Yeah. And the third step would be, if you want to find out more, if you need more, and they're going to need more, here's a way to reach me. Or if this has been beneficial to you and you want more, you can always reach me here.
Okay. And then I can give them my Calendly thing and then kind of go from there and
yep.
Because
what we're doing is we're reverse engineering the content from the sales pitch, right?
Okay.
We're thinking about what your final offer is. Your final offer is, sign up for ongoing coaching, your coaching package. We're thinking about how we're ascending them to that point. Okay. And we're thinking about how you establish yourself as somebody that they trust on the front end.
Got it. Okay. So we have, hold on. Okay, and then we do. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, got it.
And so now we're on to the high converting structure. Now we're going to play around a little bit with this because we've changing some aspects of this. Okay, so above the headline, above the fold is your headline, subheadline, CTA. I would absolutely. This is Fearless. This is what I would do. When you make your video, extract the text or get a transcript of the video, plug it into ChatGPT, and then, matter of fact, not even ChatGPT. I would say use Prompt Cowboy for this, so you can get a really, really super detailed prompt to enter into ChatGPT for this. Okay, but you make your video, you get a transcript of it. Okay, you go to Prompt Cowboy and say, okay, I need a high converting headline and subheadline and call to action for my main page. Okay. It'll give you the prompt to put into ChatGPT. Okay. You copy that prompt, put it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT will process all of that and wait for your next instruction. Then you copy and paste the transcript from the video into ChatGPT and say, give me headlines, a subheading, and a CTA for this.
Okay, hold on. Headline. Okay, CTA, you said something else.
Subheadline.
Subheadline. Okay. All right, so it said prompt cowboy,
Yep.
main page, high converting what?
High converting headline. Let me show you what now this is what I need to show you here. Okay, so prompt
Okay.
cowboy. I'm gonna pull it up here so you can see so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Prompt cowboy is something it's something to help you with prompt engineering. That's gonna be the thing that separates the wheat from the chaff, if that makes sense, in terms of people using AI moving forward. Because now that everybody can utilize it, it comes down to who can utilize it the best, who can utilize the tool the best. Prompt cowboy allows you to do that. Okay. So I'm showing this right here. Prompt cowboy. All right. Turn your lazy prompts into great ones. So I want a prompt that will so give me a high converting headline and subheadline for, I'm spelling this wrong, my website based on, we can either do the transcript from my videos or based on my verbal instructions. Based on the transcript from my video. And I'm gonna show you what it's about to do, because this will change. This is kind of a game changer. Okay. So I'm putting that in there. It's creating a headline, it's creating a prompt for your chat GPT. Do you see all that's printed out there?
Yes, I do.
It's telling ChatGPT you are a conversion copywriting expert specializing in creating high converting website headlines and subheadlines. You understand the psychology of persuasive copy, the importance of value propositions, and how to transform spoken word content into compelling actions and marketing messages that drive actions. You copy this prompt and drop it into ChatGPT.
So let's do it.
All right. So we'll copy this prompt. All right. And drop it into ChatGPT.
Oh, what's your video about? What's your target market? Do you have any existing? Damn.
So let me switch into my ChatGPT.
Got it.
So we drop that entire prompt cowboy thing in there. Okay. And we're gonna let ChatGPT kind of process and add it to its working memory.
Got it.
Drop the video. So now it's giving me the instruction. Drop the video transcript and paste it in here. So let me go find a video transcript I can drop in here. I'm gonna open up my Opus Pro here. That's the fastest way to do it. We'll pull up an old video that we did. Okay. So I'm using an old video that me and Fearless did. Exposure doesn't pay, the truth business owners need to know. Okay. That's a snippet from a video. Okay. So I'm pasting the transcript from that video. Okay. There's a strong anchor headline. Simple. Simplest, high converting headline. That's what it does. And you can give the simplest instructions to Prompt Cowboy and it will think it all the way to the end for you and give you a good prompt or a good good prompt to enter into ChatGPT to get your stuff done. So I'll say this is,
hey, scroll down. Does it go down anymore?
Nope.
Or is that it? Okay.
And so we can add other things. This is for my coaching website. And now we can start whittling it down.
So now it's taking that funnel approach.
Yeah, it's taking the prompt and fine tuning it to our specific needs. This is how I use ChatGPT, y'all. It's an extension.
Yeah, me too.
It's an extension of my brain, but it doesn't replace my brain.
Correct.
So the thing is, and the tip I'm throwing in there, Fearless, is use Prompt Cowboy when you are trying to do like for website stuff. Create your prompts there. So if you need,
I got you.
Create your prompts there and then copy them into ChatGPT.
Got you.
Because then you're basically doing. I'm gonna stop sharing here. What you're doing is you're setting the stage for ChatGPT to think like a copywriting expert.
So what is? Okay.
Go ahead. What's
So
up?
now I'm about to go into Prompt Cowboy. Like, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing little tool. I've been utilizing it for when I have a prompt that I can't fully think out, or it has multi-steps. I always go to Prompt Cowboy and enter it in there, and it gives me a whole breakdown to basically what personality. Because basically what it does is it tells what personality ChatGPT to adopt.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right. So where are we here? And we're gonna power through the rest of this so we can get to. So we talk about let me jump back up because I'm far afield. Okay. So we talked about the user journey. We talked about reverse engineering the content from your sales pitch. We talked about the high converting structure above the fold, which is headline, subheadline, call to action. Then you put your social proof in, outcomes, and offer. Your social proof can actually be you solving a problem directly for the audience. So we're already meeting that. Does that make sense, Fearless?
Okay, say that one more time, sir.
Your social proof can be you solving a problem for your audience in real time.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing by offering a video of a simple reframe, and then a worksheet that reframes some stuff. We've offered social proof twice. You showed that that you can help them out twice.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And so now we're into the social proof. We're talking about the potential outcomes that they can enjoy. Once you experience these reframes, maybe you have a little bit more clarity to make this big decision. And then we install our offer there. Or if you want more, this is where you can contact me. Okay. You could put, if you want to put a FAQ, which is objection handling, this is where you put a FAQ, frequently asked questions.
Okay.
And you want to get into the consumer's mind. What questions would they ask to prevent them from getting into services with you?
Oh, shit. Hold on. I'll say, for services. Okay.
And I'm
question.
I'm still like a Hormozy kind of reframe, because this is one that he used when he used to sell weight loss, services, workouts and things along those lines, right? When he would talk about, okay, this is the program we're selling, and the objection was, okay, well, I need to ask my husband or wife about this, and his reframe was, so you need to ask your husband or wife. You're coming to me as an emergency weight loss patient. You need to ask your husband or wife for permission to do emergency weight loss if it's going to save your life. What if they say no? Then what? Do you really need their permission to do this? Because really what they're doing is they're throwing out a stall because they're like, I don't know about this. And you get a chance to whittle down to what the real question is behind that objection. So your FAQ needs to be something that answers the objections that they may have to entering into services with you. I've already had coaching for this. I've already done this and it didn't help out. What makes you the expert in this? What gives you the qualifications to do X, Y, and Z? That's where you're doing your FAQ stuff. Those are the questions you're answering for them.
It's so funny too, because I think that if I did that or asking questions like that, I'm pretty sure that ChatGPT would jump in like, dude, Do you know the stuff that this man just did? Like, he's a wrong person to be asking that. Let me sit back and eat my popcorn before he jumps all in your ass right quick.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, Chad would probably just sit there and eat his popcorn while I dug all in your ass up and down the street. Go ahead.
But the idea with it is, these are real objections people have before they spend money with you, because that's the last barrier, to be honest with you, man. Like, you give somebody money to do something, that is a level of trust in what they're providing you. That's you showing that you're committed to what they're offering you. And so it's harder to get that. It's harder to get past that barrier. And so if you can remove whatever objection they have in their minds beforehand, say, I'm not just offering life coaching. I'm not offering life coaching from a privileged seat. I'm offering life coaching to somebody that was homeless, that learned that had to get it out the dirt. I had to do this myself. I'm teaching you the skills that I use to survive, and then turn that thrive into a survive.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my reputation is.
Right.
So you're answering the question so that by the time you're all right, so are you ready to book this session? You ready to actually move into services with me? The question's already answered. They're waiting to give you to pay into your services.
So for me, it's not even about paying for services
or committing to your services.
It's committing to. I don't give a fuck. I mean, the money will always be there. I don't really worry about that. It's making sure that the person that I'm working with is worth my fucking time.
Yeah.
Because this is time away from my reading. This is time away from my kid. You're not paying me for my service. You're paying me for from me being away from what I find most important in life.
Yep.
Like that. That's because the rest of the stuff, if I'm making money doing other stuff, I'm not gonna beg you for shit. And that's why I'm telling people, like, like, think about it. Like, you told me exactly what we would do in said situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the very first thing that I come up with, based on what we talked about, was okay, I want to tell you what to do before we even get to talking. Right, let me give you some tools, tips, and strategies, or a tool, tip, and strategy that I've already talked to my people about. So they already know how to do this shit. You don't.
Yeah.
So let me give it to you real quick. And then if we don't talk again, you at least know that.
The only thing I will throw in there, and this is also from a different frame of coaching. It's not about the money, it's about the commitment. And the way that you show your commitment is investing in something. Either you invest your time, or you invest your money, you invest your brain, your knowledge, or your heart. And that, money is just another level of commitment that you're willing to do.
That's it. And basically what that shows, whether people understand it or not, that shows it puts skin in the game.
Yep.
That's it. Unfortunately, that is the only way that I know that you're committed, is by paying for it. Yeah, I mean, like, and unfortunately, that's just the reality that we live in.
Yep.
Today, you know what I'm saying? This other guy by the name of Jason Goldstein or something like that, he said, I don't work with dabblers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do dabblers. And I feel the same exact way. My work requires skin in the game. Skin in the game means you got to pay for that investment.
Yep.
Period. This coaching is a fucking investment. It is a self-investment. That you're not making that investment in me, you're making that investment in yourself. That's how I look at it.
And here's the thing, I'm gonna throw this in here, and this is a little bit off topic, but it is relevant to what we're talking about. If I'm working with you and I'm not charging you anything, that means that I see a tremendous value, or I see a person that has a tremendous value within them, and I want to be part of bringing that out.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times people confuse that in terms of, oh, he's just, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop or whatnot. I'm not doing that. If I decide to take you on as a pro bono client, that means that I see tremendous value in what you're doing. and I want to help you get to that value piece of it. And I think a lot of times when I make offers, say, well, because I tell people all the time, man, book a meeting with me, sit down and come talk to me. I want to help you. They think, well, I have to have money to do that. No, sit down and talk to me. If there's services that actually require me to put money, that require investment, we'll talk about it. But I will help you without expectation of the money up front. If I make that offer to come book a free, sit down, if I say I'll consult with you for free, that's a valuable offer. The people, it's kind of a barometer on how I kind of evaluate where people are in terms of the journey of a business owner or a marketer. If you jump at that opportunity and say, absolutely, man, 100%, I'm a lock in, then that shows, okay, I'm willing to take that help. But if it's hemming and hawing, I have to ask you multiple times, you're not ready. Because when somebody who normally charges offers to do something for free because they see that value in you, that means that that's probably a signal to you like, okay, I need to take them up on this offer. Just like we talked about when you hire an expert, you do exactly what the expert tells you to do to get the outcome that you want.
Yeah.
And so when I offer it, if I offer it and say, hey, come on, man, I'll consult with you for free. I like what you're doing. I like your motion. I want to see, take me up on it. Don't hem and haw. Don't say if you're ready, because if I'm telling you, hey, consult with me for free, that means I think you're ready. You need to shut down the part of your brain that's telling you you're not. So that's my little addendum. And those that I'm pointing that out know who I'm talking to. If I offer it to you for free, you need to come. You need to sit down and take it.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That's one of the things that I tell people. And I've been telling people for the last 100 days, for the last 88 days today. Dude, once these 100 days are done, I'm charging for everything.
Yeah,
everything. There are no pro bonos, and if I do, it'd probably be like once a month or some shit like that or whatever. But I'm telling you now, this is what we're doing. It's kind of like a first come, first serve. But now you have me all to yourself, and I get a couple people or whatever, but not nowhere near as much as that. But like I said, dude, I'm charging for everything. Yeah. And again, I mean, look at the money I've actually had to turn away because I told people no, I'm doing it for free.
Mm-hmm.
So just so when I do start charging, I don't hear none of y'all talking and complaining about shit.
Well, and you just got, and be honest with you, Fearless and I are sitting here talking through this website thing. This is $1,000 worth of game. This is $2,000 worth of game that we're running down. We're almost an hour and 15 minutes, hour 30 minutes into this. We've been giving you a lot of value in this time. This is something we could be charging for, y'all. All you have to do is tune in and you get it for free. I'm telling you how to build your website and how to step to a designer, because that's the next piece we're going to go into. And we're going to power through these pieces so we can get to, so we can move on, so we don't hold people too long.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So this next piece is a minimum viable website. And this is kind of a blueprint for that. If you have to build a lean but lethal website that converts, here's what it needs. Okay. A one-page layout. This means that you have everything on that one page. Kind of a fun. That's what a sales funnel looks like, a landing page style. Okay. A headline that calls out their pain or problem. Some proof, either social proof, whether you solve a problem immediately on page, or you're highlighting people whose problems you solved. Okay. So testimonial, statistics, whatever. That's your social proof. Okay. A simple offer with pricing. A CTA to book a call or join a wait list. Okay. A contact and trust section. That means website, social media, like other social media links, phone number, all that stuff for them to contact you. Okay. And if you're interested, I wouldn't, this is kind of a step that might be a bonus. But if you want to add analytics, you can hook up Google Analytics and stuff to it. I wouldn't, that's a whole nother conversation that needs to happen, because there's a couple of steps that go into adding analytics. Plus, the only analytic you need to worry about when you're starting out is, are people paying me for this? Or is this converting for it? Am I getting the action out of this? Like, are they signing up for the mailing list? Are they booking a call? Are they buying the product? Those are the analytics you need to worry about at the beginning. So that's the minimum viable website. Okay. And let's talk about red flags when hiring a designer. And here's the thing. My friends are designers. I don't want y'all, this is not dumping on designers. And I don't like how ChatGPT kind of butchered my notes on this one, but I'm going to talk around it. Okay. And these red flags are more for the client side than the designer. Okay. So if you only want to talk about colors and logos and not your target audience or goals, you ain't ready to sit down and talk with the designer.
Okay. So say that again.
If you're looking to talk to a website designer to help you design your website, and the only, as far as you thought about your colors and your logo, but not your target audience or your goals for the website, you ain't ready to talk to no designer.
Right.
You ain't ready for it. You need to go back and sit down and think. If you don't want to talk about conversions or how to capture leads and effective strategies and the visual cues to drive that, you ain't ready to talk to a designer.
Okay.
If you can't explain how your site supports your business model, you ain't ready for a designer. You ain't thought about this enough. Okay. And if you're trying to skip the strategy session and jump right into the build, you ain't ready for a designer. The strategy has to come first. You build it with an intent. Every house gets built off of a blueprint. You can freestyle a house if you want to. You can get up there. You can hire somebody to freestyle a house if you want to.
Right.
But you're not going to be happy with the results. You need to have a blueprint before you go in and sit down and talk to the designer, y'all. Because what a lot of times is you're just giving them a paint canvas, say, paint me a pretty picture, and you have to guess what's in my mind.
Right.
You're wasting money, you're wasting time. Okay. So let's get into the last couple pieces here. The real talk. This is what you should actually invest in. Strategy first, design second. Spend more time planning than you do with doing on the website. Now, that is not an excuse to sit around and playing yourself into oblivion or seek some kind of validation before you move forward. Sit down and think about what this website is for and what you want it to do. Okay. Copywriting is king. The messages you put on the website determine so much. This entire SEO thing, search engine optimization, these packages people try to sell you for thousands of dollars. It's great if you have a website that's doing 1 million viewers or a million visitors every month. Even if you're doing only 10,000 visitors a month, SEO can take you from great to excellent, but it won't take you from trash to good. So SEO is this. And the new rules of SEO, which is search engine optimization, are this now. You have to have high quality content on your website, which means your sentences have to make sense. You have to use good grammar. Your stuff has to be understandable. Like Google's analyzing for this stuff. Your website has to load quickly.
Right.
Google analyzes for all this stuff. It used to be you could just do keyword stuffing where you just stuff a bunch of keywords on your website.
Yep.
That died. And when that died, when Google changed the algorithm, that killed about 80% of digital marketing.
Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
It was a good thing because it got a lot of spammy crap out of digital marketing.
Gotcha. Okay.
A lot of scammers were doing it. Russell Brunson talks about it, and it's kind of a he spins it as a good thing, but it's basically he was spamming people.
Who was Russell?
Yeah, at the beginning he was spamming people with low quality content, and Google forced him to step his game up. The Google slap forced him to step his game up. So well-written content that conveys a message, that talks about what your visitor's hopes and dreams are, and what their needs are, and what their pain points are. That's good website copy. That's good stuff to go on your website. Stuff that talks about you and how great and wonderful you are, that's not going to work as much. Because even when people search on Google, they're searching for their problems. They're not searching for how great your website is. They're trying to solve their own problems. If your website intersects with something that solves their problems, then your website's going to pop up in their search.
Gotcha.
Okay. And forms and follow-up is better than pixel perfect design. So having a website that allows you to follow up with your clients and assess them and move them through your sales process is better than beautiful design and a beautifully award-winning looking website. Form over function is what it is. And you're better off with a $200 website than a $2,000 plan. I don't like that one. You're better off with a website that works.
Gotcha.
Than one that's expensive. And if the expensive one is one that works, then it's worth the money.
So, I mean, as long as it converts.
As long as it converts, it's worth the money.
But again, but like you're saying, so let me ask you, would you suggest to a person, because I'm gonna tell you like this, I've even told people too, I would not get an LLC for shit until you made at least $15,000. Now, I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Because so many people start businesses and they don't make any money. And then within a few years, that business goes under, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 right? Whereas, I mean, I totally get it. If you spent money, that you can get that money back, you can write that off, this, that, and the other. So there's a bunch of write-offs and different things like that or whatever. But I personally feel that with a lot of companies, with a lot of businesses, and with people in general, the way that the IRS sees it, and I've told this before, that if you don't make a certain amount of money, they don't even consider your shit a business. They consider it a hobby. Right? And that's honest God true. That's how they look at it. So when you are building something, you need to have, I personally think that you have to have some type of money coming in. I guess depending on what you do, but I'm just telling you, you better have something coming in. Otherwise, what are you doing? And the reason why I say that is because you have all these people who, I'm gonna build me a company, I'm gonna do this and the other, and then it's like you spent more building the company than you did making any money back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like I don't know.
I see it as this, if you need because when I first started my LLC, I had to actually have it so that I could do freelance work so I can do consulting work where I was at. Because I had
I understand that.
And so, but I understand that too. I wouldn't have gotten the LLC if I didn't have the consulting gig lined up. And so I already had a paying gig for the LLC. And so it's agreeing with what you're saying. A lot of times people go in and they start these LLCs and they don't really have a clarity on what they're doing. And then they start these little transparent LLCs. They do like, they go, what is it? LegalZoom. They do these little LegalZoom ones.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those LegalZoom ones, is really super easy to pierce the corporate veil on that one because they're super boilerplate. They're not really specified to the business that they're in and stuff, and they haven't consulted with a lawyer. So people get these LLCs thinking that it's offering some form of protection for their catering business or something else. And it's really not. It doesn't provide the protection you think it does. And especially if you're not making any money, it's really easy to pierce the corporate veil on an LLC, which means it opens you up to lawsuits and stuff.
Okay.
And so don't go in there without a plan. Now, once you have a plan of how you're going to make money and what you're actually going to do, then you can go and do the LLC thing. And that's how I view websites too. Once you have the plan, you can go do it. But I think a lot of times people want to put the cart before the horse and use the LLC or the website as a proof of validation of their idea, as opposed to working to validate their idea and then building the website
out.
And LLC to supplement the idea. They view it as end goal as opposed to a tool. LLC is a tool. It's not an endpoint. It's not an endpoint to have LLC. That's not a destination. For some people, it is. I'm gonna get me an LLC and everything's gonna work out. Now, I will caveat that if you're doing real estate, you better have LLC. You better have that in place. If you're doing catering, you better have an LLC in place.
I mean, anything food related, house related, anything, something like that. I totally get that.
But just to have one,
and it's not even have one. If you're selling clothes, if you're doing widgets, if you're doing certain shit, that you really don't need one. If you don't absolutely need it, make some money first. Make sure that it's viable. Make sure that it's monetized, and then go back, because you can always set up an LLC, incorporation, C or S or whatever you choose to do at a later date. You don't have to do it right then and there. You can just work off a sole proprietor. Depending on what you're doing. So I would tell people, stay there, do that, make some money, and then incorporate. Because and I would also say, if you can make money for at least 3 months consecutively, then incorporate. Until then, personally, I wouldn't. That's just me, though. Now, doing what I do. Yes, or whatever. I mean, because there's too much bullshit not to.
Well, if you're exposed, like when you're in an industry where there's an exposure to lawsuits, then you need an LLC.
You need an LLC.
And so even like cutting hair, you can get sued if somebody gets some kind of infection from your shears.
There you go, man.
If you run a tattoo shop, you can get sued. And so anything that opens the door for you to get sued. If you're selling widgets, that's one thing. But if your widgets can set somebody's house on fire, then you probably need to have an LLC. Or if they're a choking hazard or something for a kid or a pet or something, you need to have an LLC. I think the biggest thing is get the LLC when it makes sense, like when you can get some tax benefit from it.
Yeah.
And you don't get tax benefit until you start making money.
When
you can start drawing some kind of tax benefits from it, from the business structure, and you can draw some benefit from having a business checking account and all that other stuff, then the LLC makes sense. Up until that point, you need to validate your idea. Just like a website, validate your idea first. Figure out what your business model is first, how you're going to make money, and how you want your client's journey to be, and then you make the decision on, okay, invest in this thing. And you can build your own website if you want. That's a good start. And once that website has kind of reached what it can do, then that's when you bring in the expert, when you're making the money.
Yeah, and then you upgrade from there.
Yep.
But until then, I would just kind of keep it chill for now. That's what I would do.
Yep. So, all right, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Yeah, please do, because I gotta get out of here in a minute.
Me too. So, here's the thing. We kind of ran down everything that you need to start thinking about your website. I encourage you, if you see this video, start from the top, work all the way backwards, and so that you have a good idea before you put money into a website. I have auditing services. I can audit your website. I do have some services I can roll out with that one to help audit your website to make sure that it's delivering the way you want it to. That's what I do, and I will put the link for that in the comments. Guys, tune in next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be awesome. And pop in, because this episode is high value. I'm just telling you now. This was a $1,500 to $2,000 consultation in the form of a conversation between me and Fearless. I think that it's that level of value. So this is what we're trying to deliver on the Trial and Error podcast. So
right.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brian.
Fearless here.
All right. We'll get to you guys next week. Peace.